President Muhammadu Buhari believes the national identification number by Nigerians is key to winning the ongoing war against insecurity in the country. Mr. Buhari is urging Nigerians to fully participate in the ongoing synchronization of NIN with SIM cards across the country, as it will provide a digital framework for improving security and strengthening the economy. Speaking at the launch of the National Policy for the Promotion of Indigenous Content in Nigerian Telecoms Sector and Revised National Identity Policy for SIM cards registration at the State House, Abuja, the President says proper identification of all Nigerians and legal residents in the country and ability to conveniently access a database will provide an impetus for more effective planning and security oversight.
Well, for analysis, let's now turn to our Rise News analyst, Dr. Sam AMADI, who joins us now in the studio. Dr. AMADI, thank you so much for being here. And of course, let's work our way from the top to the bottom. And of course, starting with the fact that the President says that he believes that the national identification number by Nigerians is key to winning the ongoing war against insecurity in the country. Can we talk about how essential the NIN registration is, especially when we look at the essence as it concerns insecurity and what is being experience all across the country right now?
I think clearly data is not just money, data is also soul. And so in a democracy, data is important to fighting insecurity. Part of the crisis of insecurity, actually, with even the policing end of it, is that we don't know who is who. So there's no sense in which the police, we can't run any check. So if people can actually walk by you and they are wanted criminals, there's just no way you know. Again, basic things. We don't even have cameras to capture some of this kidnap, attack on police institutions and all that. We can't even capture them on video. We don't even know who did what. You see the level of thoroughness in which the capital attack has been dealt with, because people, even by other citizens who captured us on video. So data is important. There was a time we talk about linking database, sweeping them into a central database under President Jonathan. Not just about creating data, it's also about data integration and access, and again, issue of custody, again, credibility of data. Again, we saw what happened in the UK. Oftentimes, data management, data security, data privacy, and data integrity could be a challenge. So the idea of NIN being, kind of enabling us to better fight insecurity is clear, is evident that once we can document all persons living in Nigeria, whether they're citizens or legal residents, and once we can easily access those data and be able to take, for example, something as simple as NEPA power. Now, people who owe debt to discos can migrate to a different area, and those debts, and somebody who didn't own the debt is suddenly paying it, because we don't have credit check, and you can't do credit check except to have data. So clearly, the bench is up to something. But the question is, do we have the institutional and cultural resource to efficiently manage it?
That's what
privacy
and
some other central values.
Some people may not want to participate in this NIN. My question is, how would government mop up this set of people? I mean, it's expected that everybody should do NIN, it's a good thing to do. But in the event that some people don't, how would government mop up the people who do not do this?
Well, three things there. One is just like vaccine phobia or vaccine rejection, if hesitancy, people don't trust government. Government trust is critical here. And then the Pantami issue saga around his whether he should resign or not could undermine faith in that process, because people are also afraid of data being used for several things. And that's why government builds trust around data security before asking people to sign on. So if people don't want to sign on because they don't trust the system, because they think, it could be used for other subversive process, then you have to do a lot of public enlightenment. Again, sanction comes in now, whether, for example, you say if you don't have your NIN, you're going to say SIMs. But the question is, you could see that the cost benefit is higher on cost. So you take people out of communication, you undermine commerce and industry, because the data is not just about social communication, it's business platform. And so you look at it, you might end up hurting the economy, you might end up violating several norms.
So probably that's the reason why we're seeing this is
you just can't say, if you don't do this, we'll knock you off, because you're going to knock them off so many things. And you could undermine determine the rebound of the economy.
Absolutely.
You know, that's
well,
that's
Dr. AMADI, let's look at the fact that the service chiefs were at the National Assembly today, and of course, looking at the statement credited to the President of the Senate, he says, you know what, these service chiefs are doing the best that they can with what they have. Key. What do you make of such a statement?
Well, first is what they have. If what they're doing is the best of what they have, then they have nothing, because primarily they're not doing much. Look, we are still every day kidnapped. We heard about maybe not confirmed Abia State University, several areas, Ebo State University, everywhere. Now the question is this: this executive session should end. You know, if you look at parliaments all over the world, the Nigerian National Assembly shouldn't see themselves as executive. They're legislator. And the heart of legislation is openness. Each time they go in executive session, they behave as if they're executives. They should be legislative. If you look, when the US Congress or any other parliament in the world invites public officials, it's a public hearing. It's not executive session. So when they come out of executive session, they tell us we are satisfied with their conduct. How do we know? That's why you watch, even on television, you watch live telecasts of legislators in the US, for example, drilling public officials. So the whole sense of secrecy.
Well, this was a closed-down meeting. There was no how we could get the Nigerian media.
They shouldn't be having closed door. They are legislator. Their job is to open up and create a sense. For example, how do we know that these guys are doing the job? So I'm saying, look, they should step away. It's a paradigm shift. The nature of the National Assembly is open sessions, not the executive, not just the fault. It has been a tradition. Everything is executive session. They are not executives. Do you hear about executive session in the US Congress? Every hearing is a hearing. If you invite them, you want to ask them questions.
Well, somebody will say, we're not the US.
But we should be.
So we have our own culture.
No, the Nigerian exceptionalism is what we're within this war. Let me give you an example. How do you know that the money is being spent well? We heard about trillions.
A trillion.
You should have by now a parliamentary inquiry. It's not a quick question of sweetheart chatting with the chief of staff. It's about public inquiry. A commission you establish by law will go and forensic and tell you a story. So we are
accounting for that money seems to be a major issue, especially looking at the former service chiefs and the fact that they had some criminal charges leveled against them. But you know what, Dr. Sam AMADI would have to say thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.